Hi folks, it's Pastor Russ here. I wanted to talk to you today about something very important that's happening shortly, and that's the election that's coming up. Now let me just give a disclaimer here, first and foremost. I am not here to tell you who to vote for or to vote against. I'm not here to endorse any candidates or parties, but I am here to speak to you as a pastor and a Christian and an American to encourage everyone to participate in this election. This is our voice. This is the freedom that we have been given in this nation to elect our leaders. And it is something that we as Christians must exercise if we want to have the very best people in office. Now, granted, there are so many kinds of political ads out there now, and commercials and radio things and billboards and signs. It is very, very easy to get confused. But that doesn't have to be the case. Obviously, every candidate, every party is going to tell you how great they are and how lousy their opponents are. And sometimes there's some truth to what they say, sometimes there isn't. So how do you sort through that so that you can make the absolute best choice? Well, there are other places where you can get information on the candidates, especially candidates that you're not sure about, people you haven't heard speak, people you haven't read about their records voting in the legislature or wherever they've served. There are ways that you can kind of find out, do they align with who you are and who we are as Christians, or don't they? And you can find these places. A number of different organizations are out there. Again, they don't endorse they don't endorse candidates. They don't tell you vote for this one, don't vote for that one. They just simply say, here are those who are running. Here's where they stand on the issues. Here's what their voting record reflects, so that you can vote intelligently and in an informed way without just listening to some commercial or some news person or whatever trying to convince you to vote for their guy or their woman that's running. So what I'm going to suggest is look for some of those that you think you can trust. Now, I've gotten a couple in the mail from organizations that I believe are honest and are Christian based and will do their best to give you solid, real information about the candidates. I got this brief one from the Faith and Freedom Coalition. It's just a brief guide for president. It doesn't have all the other candidates. It just has Joe Biden and Donald Trump on, and then it asks their positions on about 10 different issues. And you can see, are they in favor, are they opposed, etc. And they have citations at the bottom to prove that what they're telling you is the truth, where they were documenting their answers from, so that you can trust that it's true. I'm sure they have a website that you can go to if you'd like a copy of their voter's guide, or if you're not sure. Another one that just came in the mail recently that I know does this every year is the Pennsylvania Family Council. They do this huge voter's guide every major election. And what they do is they have all the candidates in here for all the races, from president all the way down to, say, the local House district. So there actually are the names of hundreds of people in this guide, and they ask them a bunch of different questions, and they have their responses here to the various questions. Now, the questions are relevant to the offices they're running for. You're not going to ask somebody who wants to run for county sheriff how he feels about the Russians having nuclear weapons, because as a county sheriff, he's never going to make that, going to vote on that anywhere. You know what I'm saying? On the other hand, you wouldn't ask the President of the United States his feeling on whether or not your county should assess a $5 fee for paperwork processing or something. That would be a local person that you would want to know that about. So the questions that they ask are relevant to the offices. Again, this does not tell you who to vote for or who to vote against. It's simply for information. You can get this from the Pennsylvania Family Council. You can look them up online, and they'll probably have one online, or you can have one sent to you. I think they also will do a customized one, because wherever you live, you have different candidates in the state. We don't here vote for candidates for state legislature who serve districts out in Pittsburgh. The people out there do. And they don't vote for candidates who serve the districts in Philadelphia. The people in Philadelphia do. So what they do is they will give you voting guide online, I believe, that's relevant to where you live, who you're going to be voting for, who the candidates are. So these are just two quick suggestions for you. There are others that you can look into. We as Christians need to be wise. We need to cast good votes. We need to vote for people who will support and protect our faith and our rights in this country. We need to make sure that we're voting for those who respect the First Amendment and our freedom of religion in this country, because there are those who want to take it away. There are those who want to take away our freedom of speech. And we need to know where the candidates come down on those issues to know should we put them in office or not. We want to have freedom in this country. We want to have freedom in our churches. We want to have freedom in our communities. But we want to have people that we can trust, people who are honest, people who will do a good job when they're elected. And that should be our highest goal in voting, is to make sure we put the very best people into office. Now again, I can't make that decision for you. That's something you need to pray about, that you need to ask the Lord's guidance and get involved. Christians who don't vote, well, then we have no say. The voting percentage of Christians in this country is no higher than the rest of the population, which is tragic, and basically the numbers that I heard a number of years ago I think still hold pretty true. Only 50% of eligible Christian voters are actually registered to vote. And of those, on average, only half of those actually do go and vote. So that means only 25%, 1/4 of the Christians in this country are voting in elections. So can you see why we might have problems here if 3/4 of those who believe in the Lord and want to see His will done in our society aren't even voting? Can you see the problem? I hope you can. So, I urge you, please, educate yourself, find out who the best candidates are, make sure that you get out and vote. If you can early vote, that's great. I don't know where we stand on as far as mail-in or absentee ballots. We're getting pretty close to the election for that. But get out on November 3rd and vote. Take people with you. Take your family, friends, neighbors, whoever needs to go. Share your information that you got about these candidates with them so that they can be informed voters. The last thing you want to do is vote for somebody and then find out later after they're in office that they really hold views different than what we have as our faith. So, and please do not ever listen to the nonsense that you hear sometimes that says Christians shouldn't be involved in politics at all because of separation of church and state, blah, blah, blah. That's nonsense. We are citizens of the United States like everyone else is. We have the exact same rights as everyone else, and we have the exact same privilege to go and vote for those we want to lead us, and we would also have the privilege to serve in office should we choose. In fact, the Constitution specifically prohibits any kind of religious test to hold public office. No one has to reveal their religion or defend their religion in order to serve in a public office. If anybody demands that, then they are violating the Constitution, whether it's somebody in Congress or an election official or somebody trying to put those kind of restrictions on who can serve. Our founding fathers understood that because they did not want to have an America where somebody said, oh, you can only serve in office if you're a Baptist, or you can only serve in office if you're a Methodist, or you can't serve in office if you're a Catholic, or if you're a Lutheran you can't. They didn't want any of that. They wanted to make sure that everyone was equal as far as their faith went. And so they specifically wrote that into the Constitution, that is not allowed. So if anybody tells you different or you hear anybody speaking differently, know that they are violating the Constitution with their opinions. So yes, we can be involved as much as anybody else. We need to be involved because we care about this country. We care about morality. We care about family. We care about life. We care about freedom. We care about the right to worship as we desire without the government inhibiting or prohibiting us from doing that. And the only way we're going to be assured that those rights will continue is if we get out, make our voices heard, make those who are running understand that this is important to us and we expect them to defend our rights. So, enough about that, but I just again want to encourage you. This election is coming up. Now it's 2 weeks from tomorrow as I'm recording this. So please get out, vote, make your voice heard, and participate in what's happening. And pray about it before you do it. Ask the Lord to guide you, because we only want the best people to serve us in leadership. We don't want those who either are not as competent or who are dishonest or corrupt. We only want the best people. So let's do what we can to do our part in that. Please get out and vote. Vote wise, vote prayerfully, and be part of the solution. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening.